Hey friends, a few days ago we learned about a man named Abraham who had a son named Isaac. Well, Isaac had two sons. They were twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob's name meant trickster, which was the perfect name for him because he spent so much time tricking people. He wasn't always the greatest guy, but the crazy thing is, God had chosen Jacob to be part of the greatest story of all time. You see, one of Jacob's future family members or his descendants would be a child who would bring God back to earth. This child would be the Son of God. God chose to use Jacob and his family, even though Jacob wasn't always the best example. One day, while Jacob was running away from his brother because he had stolen from him, again, Jacob met a beautiful woman named Rachel and fell in love. Jacob wanted to marry her so badly that he promised her father he would work for him for 7 years just to marry her. 7 years is a long time, but to Jacob, the time flew by because he was working for someone that he loved. It came time for the wedding and someone was up to tricks, but this time it wasn't Jacob. This time the trick was on Jacob. Rachel's dad decided that Jacob should marry Rachel's sister Leah instead. But Jacob didn't know it was Leah until after they were already married. How do you think that made him feel? Well, let's just say he was angry. He had waited for 7 years to marry Rachel. He didn't want to be married to Leah because he honestly didn't think she was very pretty, which isn't very nice. But God wanted to use Leah. Jacob, of all people, should have known that God doesn't always use the people we expect. But Jacob still wanted to marry Rachel, which made Leah feel sad and alone. But Leah wasn't alone. Just as God had chosen Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God had also chosen Leah. Through Leah, not Rachel, God would send a son, and everyone would say, God has come to live with us. God was with Leah, even when it was hard, even when her husband didn't want her, even when she felt unloved, even when Jacob chose Rachel over her, over and over and over again. God was with Leah. God blessed Leah with many children, and that made her happy. She knew that God had chosen her. She knew that God was working in her life. She knew that God could see her. But she also knew that God couldn't remain. Sin had driven him away. So Leah began to hope and to pray, God, will you come back to stay? Leah felt left out and unloved. Have you ever felt left out? It doesn't feel really good. But I have good news. When we're left out at school or on a sports team, at church, wherever we are never alone. Leah was never alone. God is with us just as he was with Leah. What great news. What good news. And it's all part of the greatest story of all time. Today is Saturday. I encourage you and your family to find an activity to do together today. Don't leave anyone out. Maybe watch a Christmas movie or decorate cookies. Enjoy spending time together, and I will see you tomorrow as we continue learning about the greatest story of all time.